Pressure from Thomas off the edge. Eli Manning stays on his feet.
Well, look who's back again. Kinda figured finishing below the Jets last year was it. That you just curl up in shame, give up and relocate to Alaska. Tell everyone who didn't ask about 6 times in 17 years and hope no one here's heard of Eli Manning. Listen to Tom's wise words behind a Fox microphone and count down the days until Belichick makes the Hall of Fame. Wait, what? You can't be serious. But no, you've come crawling back into significance, and all it took was a, well, comically easy schedule, the Chargers offense, lol, the CJ Stroud meltdown and Bo Nix's ankles being made of cheese. What a team, what a season. All you have left are the Seahawks. Just, the best team in the best division in the league, who actually have an offense and fully functional ankles, and thousands of fans baying for their redemption after last time. Just run the ball for Pete's sake. Now, you may say I'm just a bitter Jets fan, who's disliked you for 2 decades for absolutely no fair reason, and you'd be right. Good luck, guys. You'll need it. Welcome to the Sporting Almanac podcast.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh my God, it is the best, isn't it? I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited about all sports, but this is, it's something you look forward to all year. Something I look forward to all goddamn year. I don't mean since January the 1st, I mean since last February.
Yeah.
So excited. Calm me down, Ben.
I don't think I can, because whoever organised the sporting calendar for this weekend was taking the Michael. The Winter Olympics has started. Opening ceremony been and gone.
Brilliant.
We've had Lindsey Vonn crashing and doing her ACL, but still turning up for practice and the downhill. We've had ski jumpers injecting their penises and getting investigated by WADA. We've got
That was unexpected. I feel we need to go into a bit more context for that, because people are probably asking questions right now in their own minds.
If you inject, apparently there's a substance you can inject into the male appendage, which is not a performance-enhancing drug, so it's not technically on the prohibited list. It expands your penis temporarily, which increases the size of your suit, which increases the surface area of your suit, which makes it easier to basically hang in the air for longer because it increases wind resistance. The lengths, quite literally, that people will go to jump further is obviously insane.
Oh boy.
And just finishing the Winter Olympics before I carry on this little waffle about the sporting calendar this weekend, Spanish figure skater Thomas Lorec Garino Sabat is not going to be allowed to perform his usual music routine in the figure skating because he plays the Minions mix and copyright issues have got in the way at the Olympics, which is a shame because that would have been fun.
That is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It started embarrassingly for the Italians. A biathlete failed a drugs test. What else? The Aussie Open, Alcaraz, that's obviously been and gone. But this weekend, you've got the Six Nations has started. You've got the T20 World Cup starting. The Premier League is on. Transfer deadline day has come and gone. F1 testing has begun.
Oh, God. The F1 season's around the corner. Oh, God, I love this time of year.
So, yes, I don't think I can calm you down because this is one of the jewels in that crown of a sporting weekend.
You speak to any American in the world, they'll tell you it's the biggest event on the sporting calendar. And Ben, they're probably right.
Oh,
come at me.
Okay, I was going to...
Biggest annual event on the sporting calendar.
I was going to ask you, where does this stand in the sporting calendar annually? And then I was going to ask you, where does it stand in terms of sporting behemoths generally?
I don't think you can compare it to World Cups. I don't think you can compare it to the World Cup final, certainly, and I wouldn't want to try. I don't think you can compare it to Olympics, and I don't think you can compare it to the Winter Olympics, which are ongoing, because they happen once every 4 years. But in terms of annual events, what's it up against? The Wimbledon final, Champions League final, what else are we talking?
FA Cup final for the English.
I mean, for sure, but It's not got as many people watching it as much as we wish it did. It's huge. It
depends on how you measure it.
I'm not saying it's necessarily for sporting reasons.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily for sporting reasons. It is an event that transcends everything. It is full of celebrity. The tickets are now ludicrously expensive. You got the halftime show. You've got the controversy around that and everything that goes with it. You've got history. It is genuinely still a sporting event. It stands up on its own merits. It's just colossal.
It is. Oh, colossal it is. That's a perfect adjective for it. Yeah, okay. Holistically, I think I can probably make that concession. From a sporting perspective,
yeah.
I mean, it's still very competitive. I'm not saying it's not. I think the sporting angle is a harder debate, but in terms of showbiz, I don't.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Nothing compares, right?
But I don't want, and this is actually a trend that is happening now with football a lot. Champions League final, even the FA Cup final. They're talking about doing an FA Cup final song, aren't they, or something naff like that?
Embarrassing.
I don't want other sports to be copying the razzmatazz and to be trying to become like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is great because it's in America. It's the only one-off game in American sports. All other series, as we mentioned, play best-of-7 finals. It's its own unique thing,
well, it's good.
And it shouldn't be copied.
That's it. Yeah, I agree with that and its uniqueness. I mean, it's good because it's American. Like,
yeah,
you don't,
it's developed naturally. It's completely unnatural because it's America, but it's developed naturally in a very American sense.
Yeah, and if you try to make this like the FA Cup final, like the Super Bowl, you would ruin the FA Cup final. And if you tried to make the Super Bowl as traditional as the FA Cup final, you'd probably ruin the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So let these things be what they are.
It doesn't really matter. Ultimately, billions of eyes across the world upon their television sets watching it. It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome.
It's going to be a spectacle.
I know you're going to stay up and watch the whole thing. I am going to do my very best. I nearly always get to half time. Whether I make it to the end is a different matter. It depends really on what I'm doing.
The second my annual leave refreshes for the year, I book the Monday after the Super Bowl off.
Yeah.
Pretty much the first thing I book. I think I booked it off before I booked my wife's birthday off this year, so sorry about that.
Priorities. I mean, okay, like that. We've established its status, but I mean, go on, let me ask you this, because I know you're the resident pro when it comes to American football. What makes a good one, then? What makes a good Super Bowl for you, Jack?
If you're talking about the best Super Bowls, what makes it truly special is the fourth quarter.
Okay. That's very specific.
Yeah, both teams are still in it in the fourth quarter. Like last year wasn't like that. Last year was a blowout. It was obvious from the first half who was going to win that. The very best Super Bowls, the ones that I look back on, it's always ding dong in the final quarter. Touchdown here, drive up the other end, touchdown there, maybe a field goal to win it near the end, whatever it might be. That's what makes a great Super Bowl. It feels more often than not that happens. It's not. I'm sure if I actually went back through the Super Bowls, it wouldn't actually look like that. But there's been enough of them in the time I've been watching them, which is about 20 years now, to make me feel like, yeah, this is pretty common.
That is actually a good point, because I was looking at previous Super Bowls in preparation for this, and they're not all high scoring, but they are all.
No,
they're not all. They're more often than not quite tight score lines. There's quite a lot of drama, and nearly all of them, and perhaps this is actually all of them, have, and American football lends itself very well to this, very big moments where like people have done something, spectacular.
Yeah, and often these moments end up with their own Wikipedia pages and their own nicknames about them, and that's great. I love that. It's not even just about that. It's, as I say, to me, it's all about the fourth quarter. It's all, you get the ramping nerves picking up, especially if you want one team to win over the other. And in my lifetime, it's been more often that I want a specific team to lose more than I want a particular team to win.
Yes.
It's the New England Patriots, guys, straight off the bat.
One of the teams in this year's edition.
Yeah.
It's probably, I mean, like, people will know this, anyone who's interested. But Seahawks, the Seattle Seahawks, that is, versus the New England Patriots. And you hate the Patriots.
I do.
I was going to ask you, I know the answer to this question. So this is very much a loaded question, to invite you to tell anyone that is listening what your favourite Super Bowl has been.
My favourite Super Bowl? Oh.
Well,
I mean,
I know the answer to this question. I know one of your favourite Super Bowls.
I am going to tell the story of my favourite Super Bowl now, even though I've got 3 main stories to tell tonight, and this is the last one chronologically, but I don't care. You've asked me the question. We're going to bang on with it now. So, I think to tell this story, I've got to tell you why I hate the Patriots. And it's honestly... So I, generally speaking, I was relatively late to becoming an NFL fan compared to like other sports. Obviously, you know as well as I do, we were obsessed with football when we were kids. Very young age. This is association football, soccer, I should say. But in terms of American football, it was very niche in the UK in the 90s and the 2000s. You probably had to have Sky Sports to be able to see anything. And other than the Super Bowl, no games were ever shown live on terrestrial TV. And I think even then it was probably the early noughties that the first Super Bowl games were shown. I think it was ITV first and then it became BBC. But I fell in love with the NFL. But I first started liking the NFL because of Madden.
Oh, yeah.
Same as probably everyone else does.
Yeah. Great computer game.
Like, exactly, yeah. Madden 2005 particularly, I remember playing to death. Ray Lewis was on the cover. Michael Vick was unstoppable at this point, 2005.
Russian yards.
Before he took a couple of years out of the NFL for some reason.
Getting dogs to fight.
Shortly after that. Yeah, not the nicest man, Michael Vick, but we didn't know that in 2005.
No.
I think the first team I actually liked was the Falcons because of him. So
we did know.
That quickly changed.
We did know that Ray Lewis was a monster.
We did, and we did know that John Madden was a legend.
Yeah, and Ray Lewis, the monster, not as in a bad guy. Let's just clarify that, because we were talking about Michael Vick in detrimental terms. Ray Lewis was a freak on an American football pitch.
A sporting monster. Yeah, they're both monsters for very different reasons. But like in terms of the actual game, the first NFL game I remember watching, and this is not the one I want to talk about. This is the first one I remember watching was Super Bowl 40. That was the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Seattle Seahawks who were playing this year, obviously. I can pinpoint in that game the exact moment that like my curiosity turned to genuine love. And anyone who remembers Super Bowl 40 probably knows what moment I'm talking about. So
What
Al
year
Michaels
was
and John
it?
Madden.
Do you know? Did you say?
This is 2006.
Yeah.
So it was a 2005 season, but 2006, January 2006 for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I only asked that because I'm useless at the Roman numerals. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. yeah, that's fair enough. I can read the Roman numerals, but I can't pick a Super Bowl by number to the year. And even then, every time we talk about the year of a Super Bowl, it's obviously in a different year to the season it represents.
Yeah, it's the year after.
So this was the Super Bowl for the 2005 season. This is the 2006 Super Bowl. Anyway,
yes. That
aside.
Sorry, I keep distracting you.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk about Al Michaels for like the 5th episode we've mentioned him. So he was a commentator for the Madden games, obviously. And it was him and John Madden on commentary for this particular game, which I probably took for granted because I only really knew the Madden games. This might have even been the first NFL game I watched live, and I'd have been, 17 at the time? So yeah, I was pretty late to the game. I've watched this clip about 1,000 times since then. So what happens is, it's the 4th quarter, the Steelers are up by 14-10. The game's quite well balanced, but Pittsburgh have it on the Seahawks' 43-yard line, 1st and 10. So basically the sort of feeling is at the time, if they can run the ball a lot, knock off some clock, maybe come out of it, hopefully with a touchdown, maybe with a field goal, the game might be as good as won. Instead of running up the middle, what happens is Ben Roethlisberger, the quarterback, he takes a snap, he tosses it back to his running back, Willie Parker. Parker hands it off to his wide receiver, a man named Antoine Randall, on the left-hand side behind the line. Now, Antoine Randall, he played college football for those until recently perennial losers, the Indiana Hoosiers, who are now the best team in college football.
They are.
But Randall wasn't a wide receiver at college. He was a quarterback. And
trick play.
Now he had the ball. Now he had the ball, time and space, and he had fellow wide receiver Hines Ward bursting down the right-hand side in single coverage. Randall throws an absolute dime to Hines Ward, who makes a catch. They knock over the extra point. They go 21-10 up. The commentary's wonderful. In fact, here's the commentary.
Little toss. Here comes a gadget play. Randall he can throw. He was a quarterback in college. And he's thrown a touchdown to Hines Ward in the Super Bowl.
Show notes as well.
I'll put it in the show notes as well. You can watch that at your leisure. And 21-10, it ends that way. Steelers win their 5th Super Bowl. I mean, basically, if you're watching a game of NFL and you're falling in love with the sport, that is just the beautiful moment that pushes you over the edge. A trick play in the Super Bowl that comes off perfectly with the commentary team like that.
Yeah, that's
legendary. I've watched it thousands of times since.
You can imagine, can't you, by comparison, like, say, somebody watching, like, Zidane's goal in the Champions League final, or, like, a bicycle kick in football, and falling in love for the same reason.
James Rodriguez's volley, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're talking my language, but, like...
Yeah.
But no, like that's very relatable, because any sport lends itself to that moment. You see someone do something miraculous, it really does capture the imagination, especially when you're young and impressionable.
Which I was.
As you were as a 17-year-old, because I was there.
Yes, you were. That was like the first moment that really made me fall in love. So prior to the 2006 Super Bowl, 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls had been won by one team. And that team, of course, was the bloody New England Patriots.
They're quite good.
Yeah, quite good. Yeah, and I've got nothing against them. Obviously, Tom Brady's a legend. We'll talk about him in a bit. But me being primarily a soccer fan, an association football fan, a football fan, if you will, and I grew up watching English football in the 90s and 2000s, I had already made my mind up about the Patriots. They were, to me, akin to Manchester United.
Yeah, mate, they are. Like, yeah, perfect comparison.
And they served only the purpose of being hated in my mind. And you can say what you will about it. It was vibes alone, but it stuck. And I hated the Patriots long before I became a Jets fan. And it makes sense as a Jets fan for me to hate the Patriots, because divisional rivals constantly beat us. It makes sense to hate them, but I hated them first. My hate came before my love. Actually, it took me so long to actually pick a team. I wasn't picking a team. I can't pick a team. I fell in love with the Jets because they were useless. God damn it.
I literally love the fact that your hate came before your love. You decided which team did not deserve your admiration far before you lent any affection or dedicated any affection to a particular team. That's how everyone should live their lives.
And feelings.
Inspired through their hate of things, not by their love of things. That's such a much healthier way of living your life and navigating the world.
Well, I genuinely think that I can appreciate sport on a sort of rational basis without the need for love or hate. But it's a hell of a lot better if you feel something.
Ah, yeah, it is.
And even if that thing is hate or Schadenfreude when they lose.
Well, I agree with you, because I think I could watch a game as a neutral, and by the end of it, I'll have a team I want to win it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, every Super Bowl I watch, which doesn't have the Patriots in, I start off as a neutral, because the Jets are never fucking there, are they? So,
so yeah, your hate.
My hate. This is 2 years later. This is 2007 NFL season. So at this point, I am genuinely into the NFL now. It is also a lot more accessible for me because the YouTube has started, better internet access, social media is now a thing. I've got a lot more access to seeing the results and watching the highlights. As well as that, ITV now are playing highlights of like the playoff games as well as the Super Bowl. Yeah. There's a bit more accessibility there, and obviously Sky Sports has ramped up their coverage.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed to go to the pub now, so I can go to the pub to watch games as well. Because I'm now 19. 19 at this point. Yeah. However, to go hand in hand with the fact I'm now a fan, guess who the best team in football is by a country mile at this point? Arguably one of the best teams ever to play the game. It's only the bloody New England Patriots, isn't it?
Yep.
16-0 in the regular season. Unprecedented. Never been done before or since. Tom Brady frankly taking the piss by walking to the MVP for the regular season with 4,800 passing yards, 50 touchdowns, and a 117.2 passer rating. Now, every time I mention passer ratings, I'm like, no one knows what passer rating is. That's ridiculous. Just accept that is ridiculous. Anything over 100 is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Mid-90s is good.
You've often reminded me that anything over 100 you can consider to be an excellent season.
Yeah, like, as I mention this every time, Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be the first quarterback to retire with over 100 passer rating in his career. Brady didn't. Brady retired with a 98 or something passer rating. So 117 in a season is a joke.
Brady was Mr. Postseason, though, which we'll get to.
Yeah. Anyway, they breezed to the Super Bowl, obviously. Yeah. 18 wins out of 18. They're in the Super Bowl. God damn it. No one's happy. Least of all me.
What year is this?
This is 2008, so January 2008, or maybe early February 2008.
Yes.
I think February the 3rd the Super Bowl was.
Yeah.
So if there's one thing that any NFL fan knew in early 2008, it's that there's only one other generational quarterback in the NFL, really, at that point. And that was the 2003 and 2004 league MVP, who would go on to win that award 3 more times, the one, the only, Peyton Manning. Unfortunately, Unfortunately,
Yeah.
the Indianapolis Colts, who had been playing well, they were the second best team in the AFC behind the Patriots and were expected to play them in the AFC Championship game. Unfortunately, they got dumped out of the playoffs by the Chargers at the very first opportunity and left the Chargers to play the Patriots in the AFC Championship. Obviously, the Patriots steamrolled them, 21-12. They beat them. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And opportunity was missed. So, who steps in next for us people who don't want the Patriots to win? Enter my hero, my favourite quarterback in the history of the NFL, the man who is currently my backdrop on the video chat with Ben. Not that anyone can see that.
I can see
but
it.
He is. A giant and a giant slayer, the otherwise mostly ignored younger brother of Peyton, the one, the only, Eli Manning of the New York Giants.
Eli, yeah.
Eli. I love him. Again, I'm a Jets fan, and Eli Manning's my favourite quarterback of all time. Go figure. I could have been a Giants fan, but do you know why I wasn't a Giants fan, Ben?
Because they won something.
They bloody won. Can't do it. So this is the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, February the 3rd, as I said, 2008.
Mate,
I was watching in our university digs.
I remember this game. We were obviously at university together. We weren't watching this game together though. I was just watching it.
No,
at home.
we weren't.
Yeah, I know what this is building to because it is etched into the mind.
It's incredible. So I was pretty drunk as well. That's worth pointing out because that comes up later. So it was the unbeaten Patriots versus the 10-6 Giants, who didn't even win their own division, but somehow battled to the big game. The bookies favour the Patriots by 12 points. This wasn't even meant to be close. But that being said, the two teams, they played in the last game of the regular season, and it ended 38-35 to the Patriots, obviously.
We're close.
And the Giants were actually up in the fourth quarter, but the Patriots had to battle back, and that obviously was with the 16-0 record on the line. So they were capable, the Giants. They certainly had a good defense. In fact, their defensive line is one of the all-timers. They had Usi Emenura, who's famously British-Nigerian and appears on Sky Sports a lot, a legend. Future Hall of Famer Michael Strahan, who was playing his last ever NFL game in the Super Bowl. Justin Tuck, a talented young defensive end. So, yeah, there's some proper good defensive linemen. The Giants received the kick from kickoff. They started off with a really slow but epic 10-minute drive, which is a long drive, so using 10 minutes of the clock, but only came out of it with a field goal. The Patriots then came back with an epic drive of their own to go within a yard of the end zone with no time on the clock in the first quarter. That, incidentally, is the only time in Super Bowl history where both teams had only had one possession each during the first quarter.
Really?
There's my anorak fact for the day.
Well, I mean, I was going to say very quickly, like without spoiling the ending, this was a low scorer as well, wasn't
it? Was, yeah.
Yeah, it was,
especially after that 38-35, yeah.
Yeah. So
a very
that makes sense.
Defensive heavy game.
Was it? What did the Patriots score then, or was it 3-3 all?
Yeah. So first play of the second quarter, then they ran it in 7-3 to the Patriots.
Right.
And there it stayed for quite a long time.
For a while, yeah.
The Giants D-line were dominant. A couple of sacks, a big third down stop by Michael Strahan, and a strip sack at the end of the half by Tuck, which OC recovered. So definitely D-line on half, but it was 7-3 at halftime. And the third quarter, again, scoreless. No score in the third quarter. It's all lining up for that fourth quarter, as I mentioned at the beginning, Ben.
Yeah. This fourth quarter is wild.
Yeah, there were some big moments in the third. Michael Strahan, a big third down sack, which was the final sack of his career. And Michael Strahan used to be the all-time sack leader for a single season up until this season. Bit of a legend. Easy pick for the Hall of Fame as soon as he became eligible. So the fourth quarter, New England's still up 7-3. I have never seen a quarter of football like this one, honestly. It's beautiful. There's a couple of punts to start, both teams having a punt. And then Eli led the Giants 80 yards to take the lead with a 5-yard touchdown pass to David Tyree. So David Tyree wasn't the most famous receiver in the game, but he would be soon. Remember the name?
Yeah, jeez. Understatement.
Yeah. A couple more punts were exchanged, and then Tom Brady got the ball with a bit under 8 minutes on the clock. He led the Patriots from their own 20-yard line to first and goal. Couple of incomplete passes put pressure on Brady, but you know what pressure does to Brady?
He gets quite good. Does nothing to him.
Yes.
If anything, it enhances the abilities.
So with 2:42 on the clock, he found Randy Moss open in the end zone after a slip from Giants corner Corey Webster. 14-10 to the Patriots, 2:42 on the clock. Short return for the Giants as well. They only got back to their 17-yard line, so they had 83 yards to go, and by that point, 2 minutes and 39 seconds to get it. Enter destiny. Enter Eli Manning.
So much weird stuff happens now.
It's bonkers.
Yeah.
I've never been more alive for, I think, a sporting period than this. Like, so hyper-focused on a television set.
It's so interesting how...
Incredible.
Just before you take us through how this game plays out, what is genuinely interesting about what you said there, though, is that you don't realise that until you're in the midst of it. Like, you don't know, you don't know it's going to happen, right? So you're just watching, and then all of a sudden you find yourself engrossed, like you say, like hanging on every play, as it would be. It
captures you, yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's so good. Anyway, so a couple of early completions for the Giants, still inside their own half. Now, Eli Manning's not known for his scrambling ability, not the quickest runner, probably slightly quicker than his brother, but that's the lowest form of compliment you could possibly imagine. But he scrambles 5 yards when it matters. Shortly after that, it's 2nd and 5, and he misjudges a pass completely.
Yeah.
His receiver goes, in fact, I think that was David Tyree, goes one way, he throws it the other way, and Asante Samuel, Pat's corner, nearly makes an interception.
Yeah. The game is over if he catches it.
If he catches it, it's over.
Yeah.
But he misjudges it just slightly. A big let-off. 1 minute 15 on the clock, 3rd and 5. What happened next on 3rd and 5? Because the clock stops, obviously, because it's an incomplete pass. 3rd and 5, like just inside 43-yard line, I think it was. So inside their own half still.
Yeah, they're inside their own half. Definitely.
It defies description. The one thing the Giants cannot afford in that situation is a big sack, because that would leave them with 4th and long with the game on the line, and they're not making that against the Patriots. It's game over if Eli Manning gets sacked here. And boy, oh boy, did Eli Manning nearly get sacked.
Oh, man.
The Giants line crumbled. Multiple Patriot linemen are in the backfield. Manning avoids one. 2 more have him by the jersey. Somehow, he wriggles out of it. He finds space behind the ruckus that's going on. And then spotting one David Tyree in, I'd say, about quadruple coverage downfield, he basically just launches a Hail Mary at him. Tyree was under pressure from safety Rodney Harrison, but somehow he comes down with the ball. But then you see the instant replay, and you see how he caught that football.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Weird. Defies physics, I would say.
It defies everything. It defies logic and physics and everything you know about the game. So he got 2 hands on the ball, which was above his head. As I say, he was under pressure from Harrison, and Harrison's pressure makes him lose grip with one of his hands. Instead of simply dropping the ball like, a human would do, Tyree pins the ball against his helmet with his right hand, while Harrison is hanging off his right arm and pulling him backwards. As he's falling, he somehow gets his left hand back onto the ball, and he holds onto it as he lands flat on his back on the ground. First down. Incredible.
I genuinely, mate, don't know. I don't actually know what's more impressive. I don't know whether it's more impressive that Eli doesn't get sacked or whether Tyree catches that ball, because he should have been smoked by the first guy on the pass rush, Eli, and then 2 others have him by the jersey, and he gets pulled and then he wriggles. I don't know how he's not sacked. And then, like you say,
I don't either.
You've described the catch, mate.
So if he's sacked, it's game over.
Yeah.
It is definitely game over. I don't care what anyone says. Obviously, they got a chance. It's game over. If Tyree doesn't catch it, maybe they get 4th and 5, but they're a long way from goal.
Yeah.
With not much time on the clock, and obviously getting 4th and 5 is no guarantee either. But
it's iconic. So iconic stuff. But yeah, anyway, they haven't scored, so, They
haven't scored yet, yeah. So Giants coach Tom Coughlin's called a timeout. So there's another thing that happened at the moment David Tyree came down with that catch, because somewhere 5,000 miles from where this is all happening, a very excited and pretty drunk British student has fallen off his sofa and has broken the ring finger of his right hand. And to this day, Ben, that finger is still swollen as a result of me falling off the sofa and breaking my finger in all the excitement.
Yeah, well, you could never be trusted with alcohol in the system. Debauchery.
I could have been stone cold sober and I probably would have fallen off the sofa there. At least that's what I tell myself. I'd never seen anything like it before or since. It was wonderful.
One of the greatest plays in NFL history, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Slant play, taken out of bounds, stop the clock, puts the Giants in the red zone about 12, 13 yards away from the end zone. The very next play, Eli Manning floats an absolute beauty to Plaxico Burress in the end zone, 35 seconds on the clock, after the extra point, 17-14 to the Giants. And it feels like an understatement, almost like a anticlimax after what happened before. But it was just a beautifully well-executed play of football.
That is one of the strangest things about American football, though, to sort of the uninitiated viewer, is that it can have quite weirdly underwhelming secondary aspects to the plays. So like you said, like sometimes scoring is not the big deal, and even when you score, the end of the game can be really flat because there's just no time, and so the teams kind of acknowledge it, and sometimes they don't even play if the team who's leading is in possession. So yeah, there's a very weird game
just
like
take
that.
a knee.
Yeah, it's a very, very strange game like that. You look, mate, I tell you what, I knew you were going to talk about this because obviously I know I know you fairly well, and I knew that this game was going to come up in the favourites with obviously good reason that you've done justice there, but I just wanted to give you sort of some endorsement in that this has been ranked the second best Super Bowl ever by the NFL. So yeah, it's
what was number one?
I now cannot remember. I think it was one of the older ones, which is probably why I disregarded it. I think it was a game in the 80s or something. But
probably Montana.
I can't remember. But yeah, this one is right up there.
There was still 35 seconds to go, Ben.
Yeah.
So you're jumping the gun a bit.
Yeah, I am.
Like don't give away the ending. I mean, the ending is that the Giants don't give it up another yard because their defense is on fire.
It wouldn't be your favourite if the Patriots came back.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of forced interceptions, a 10-yard sack by Jay Alford, Hail Mary right at the end, but battered down. There was actually 1 second left on the clock, but after it got battered down, the pitch filled up with Giants players celebrating, and Bill Belichick made a beeline straight for Tom Coughlin, gave him a hug because they were friends. Good sporting moment from Bill. He was criticised because he then went into the locker room, but I don't think he realised there was still 1 second left on the clock. So it took 2.5 minutes to clear the field for Eli Manning to take a knee and end the game. But, rules are rules.
Yeah.
Got to play that last second. But yeah, so Eli Manning got the last words. He wrote himself into folklore with the first chapter of his book entitled Why I Am Tom Brady's Daddy. And that is why I love this sport.
Yeah, it's a good love story, that, to be fair. And
the Philly special, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I took a few notes about the sort of Super Bowls that we probably remember from our lifetime is probably putting it too broadly, actually. It's the last 15 years or so where we've really got into it.
Yeah, 20 years, 20 years I've been watching them.
And one of the ones that I wrote down was that Eagles-Patriots game in 2018 with the 2017 season. Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned it already, the Philly special. I think it's another story that you'll be happy talking about because I'll skim it quickly. But effectively, the Eagles were big underdogs. They went into it against Patriots, who were big favourites. The Eagles won in a very high-scoring game. It was 41-33. It was Carson Wentz, who was the quarterback for the Eagles, who got injured, though, in the regular season, which brought in Nick Foles, who would then actually win.
Nick Foles.
Yeah, he won the MVP in the Super Bowl. And, yeah, the Philly special. Do you want to tell us what the Philly special was?
So the match situation was, it was right near the end of the first half, and the Eagles were fourth and... I'm not sure it was 4th and goal or 4th and close. Anyway, they were on 4th down with a few yards to get and close to the end zone. And the normal logic in that situation is to kick a field goal for obvious reasons. I think they were 15-12 up at the time. So kicking a field goal would put them 18-12 up at the half. Or they could be ballsy and try and score a touchdown, which would put them potentially 22-12 up at the half. Now, being 22-12 up when you're up against Tom Brady does feel a lot better than being 18-12 up. But messing it up and being 15-12 up probably feels like a bit of a death sentence when you're up against such talent.
Yeah.
But this is the Eagles we're talking about. This is Doug Peterson, who always had a trick up his sleeve and was always prepared to take a chance. So there's really good mic'd up commentary of Nick Foles going over to him and saying Nick Foles was the one who suggested the Philly special. So basically, they lined up in a shotgun formation, which basically means Foles is a few yards back from the center. So he's already dropped back, basically. It's normally a passing play. It's obviously obvious that they're going for the touchdown here, but the Patriots obviously don't know what they're going to do. So Foles acted as if the play was breaking down. He was giving people orders. He sort of stepped forward and stepped slightly to the right, barking orders at his offensive line, as quarterbacks often do. But he'd previously motioned one of his running backs to stand behind him. So that running back was now effectively in like a long shotgun position, and they snapped the ball to the running back. The running back then ran to the left. This is Corey Clement. The running back ran to the left. He flipped the ball to Trey Burton to complete a reverse. A reverse is when a wide receiver comes from the outside and picks it up, and they'd normally try and run it to the corner in the end zone. But on this occasion, Nick Foles had freed himself from the position he started in and was completely unmarked in the corner of the end zone. Trey Burton threw the ball to him. Brilliant trick play. Foles completely, no one within 10 yards of him pretty much, caught the ball. Easy touchdown. 22-12. And they went on to win 41-33, I believe, in the end.
41-33.
Corker of a game.
Yeah, 41.
And I love the Eagles.
The ending was kind of dramatic.
I generally love the Eagles.
As you said about like going into the fourth quarter, it was 34-33, and then the Eagles converted a fumble recovery or something and got a field goal or something. I can't quite remember, but it all culminated in them leading by 8 points and Brady trying a Hail Mary, and then time expired. Because I think with
which you love to see.
I think with a double, like 2-point play, they could have tied it.
Yes.
But it didn't.
Which would have been ridiculous.
Which would have been ridiculous. Yeah.
Anyway, show notes for that. We'll stick that one. There's going to be about 15 plays in the show notes at this rate, but I'll put the mic'd up version in there because it's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it already.
In the interest of balance, because you said it would have been ridiculous if they had come back with a Hail Mary, the Patriots did once pull off an incredible comeback. Even
I have to doff my cap to their comeback against the Falcons. It was... I've also never seen anything like that. This was the year before. This is 2017.
Yes, for the 2016 season.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
28-3 down.
That's it. Largest comeback in Super Bowl history. Also, the first Super Bowl to be decided in overtime, which doesn't really tell the story.
No.
Atlanta scored 3 consecutive touchdowns. They were 21-3 up at the half. They then increased it midway through the third quarter to 28-3. So when we say they came back, they didn't just come back. They came back in basically the fourth quarter and a bit, and they scored 25 consecutive points. Tied the game in the final seconds, overtime, won the kickoff. By that I mean when they won the coin toss, so they got possession of the ball, drove the field and scored. Game over.
Yeah, the rules back then is if you score a touchdown in the first possession, the other team don't have a right of reply, so as soon as they cross that plane, game over, 34-28.
Yeah, absolutely mental.
If it was anyone else other than the Patriots, that might have been one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
God, I was miserable.
Yeah, to be fair, it's a good point. The only other ones I really wanted to mention from our period before you talk about whatever you want, and then maybe we finish with this year's Super Bowl was. I thought 2013 was worth a mention in dispatches when the Ravens won.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Beat the 49ers 34-31. The reason why is because I just remember it for a whole host of reasons. A couple of things, just reading about it, reminded me of a few things as well, which I'd forgotten. And one of them was that it was played in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, which was pretty cool. It was the first...
Really random quarterbacks in that game as well.
Yeah. Who were they? Go on, you say.
Joe Flacco for the Ravens, and Colin Kaepernick.
I was going to say, remember this guy.
Colin Kaepernick for the 49ers. Crazy.
People must know by now, but he's the guy who started the taking of the knee protest.
He did, and he took the knee and never took another snap in the NFL because the NFL was... I like to think it's changing, but it was very much not.
It's pretty sad what happened to him.
Woke organisation back then.
Yeah. Absolutely insane that a guy who's played in a Super Bowl and very nearly won one couldn't find a team just because he took a knee. That's pretty mental. Yeah, anyway, a couple of fun other little characteristics about it. It was the first time that 2 brothers coached against each other. So Jim and John Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Head coaches of the 49ers and Ravens, respectively. So it was nicknamed before it started. It was nicknamed the Harbowl. Jim's son and John's nephew, Jay, was also on the Ravens coaching staff. So it was a real family affair.
Yeah.
But its nickname changed. Do you remember what it was changed to? I'll be maximum points if you can get this.
No.
Something happened, Jack, during the game in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Yeah, the lights switched off.
Yes. Blackout Bowl.
Yes. I was watching that the other day, yeah. Yeah, crazy.
Play stopped for over half an hour because all the lights went out. It was also the first time 2 undefeated records in Super Bowls faced each other. The Ravens, admittedly, were 1-0 in Super Bowls. They hadn't been to many. 1, in fact. And the Niners...
So the Niners were 5-0.
5-0 going into Super Bowls.
They've been doing their best in recent years to bring that level because they've lost a couple more since then.
Yeah.
Mostly to Mahomes.
Yep. And the 2 other fun little facts were, even though the Ravens were pretty much ahead all game, it ended quite peculiarly because the Ravens took an intentional safety.
Oh, yeah.
And basically just clung on after that. And the nice bit here is it was Ray Lewis and Randy Moss's final ever games.
Yeah, both Hall of Famers now.
Those are 2 absolute legends.
Easy Hall of Famers.
Yeah. So that was a fun one that I just wanted to throw into the mix for you. And then the other 2 were basically just a little homage to the Chiefs. I'm a bit like you with the Patriots with the Chiefs, although I love Mahomes because it's hard not to. Yeah, I guess I just haven't really enjoyed their dominance. Especially as well because I really like Josh Allen, and you know that I'm a massive fan of Lamar Jackson, and they are always up against one another, and Mahomes quite often prevails. So I'm not a huge Chiefs fan, even if I respect them a lot. But that ding-dong they played out against Philly, against the Eagles, the 38-35 with the last-minute field goal, that the 3rd highest scoring game in Super Bowl history, like the tush push, the corn dog misdirection. Yeah.
It was a corker.
Unbelievable.
I don't think anyone was that disappointed when the Chiefs missed the playoffs this year because this is only the 2nd Super Bowl since the pandemic that hasn't had Patrick Mahomes in it, which is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Can I tell you something about a groundsman?
Oh, please. Yeah, awesome.
So that 2023 Super Bowl, so for the 2022 season, sorry, Americans, I'm just not going to do your Roman numerals. I don't care. It's overly complicated and unnecessary. It was basically the last Super Bowl that a guy called George Toma would serve as groundskeeper for. And he has previously served as groundskeeper at every Super Bowl since its creation, which is an astonishing legacy.
57.
Yeah.
57 years. That's crazy. I'll do the Roman numerals. That's 57 years.
He's 96 now. So, yeah, he did 1967 to 2023. He'd been nicknamed the Sod Father and the God of Sod.
Excellent. Oh, no. Doff a cap to that.
And yeah, he'd been contracted by the NFL basically to do them, even though he wasn't. He was actually a Chiefs employee, and so that the unfortunate thing is that the pitch was quite heavily criticised as being too wet. Some conspiracy theorists suggested that this hampered the Eagles' defensive line more than the Chiefs, and Toma was a former Chiefs employee and a Chiefs fan. You know. You do the math. I'm not accusing him of anything here. I think that's probably, well, I don't think probably. I think this is all bullshit, but it ended, like his reign ended a bit of controversy because of it. He's just super interesting. He's done the 1984 and 1996 Olympic Games, 1994 World Cup. He used to be a Major League Baseball groundskeeper and is in their Hall of Fame. Yeah, he fought in the Korean War. 2023.
He fought in the Korean War.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. Jesus.
He's an interesting fellow. That's the 2023 little story I just wanted to tell you. And then obviously
Love that.
Chiefs won in 2024 in the longest game ever played. Longest Super Bowl ever played.
Yeah. That was the only Super Bowl as well that my wife has watched, and she chose the longest one ever and then was determined to watch it all the way to the finish. I just have loads of texts from her just like, when does this end? But it's okay because she's an ice hockey fan now, thanks to Heated Rivalry, for anyone who knows what that is.
Oh, okay. Nice.
You should watch Heated Rivalry, Ben.
I haven't seen
There's
it.
my tip for you.
I shall.
Oh, you should watch it. Don't Google it. Don't find anything out about it. Just watch it.
Oh, I think I know
with
what
an open mind.
I think I know what it's. I think I've heard of it.
It is.
Yeah.
Actually, genuinely very good. Anyway, moving on from that.
Yeah.
Well, what next? Back in time? Spin the wheels?
Yeah, well, you wanted to tell us 2 stories, presumably because you have a fondness for them.
Well,
and maybe they tell a bit about Super Bowls.
So I've told the story of
you love
my
it.
favourite Super Bowl.
It's not all about you.
I've told the story of my... Yeah, exactly. I am going to tell the story of what I think is the best story of a Super Bowl, but I'm going to do it chronologically. I'm going to go back even further in time first and tell the story of what I think is the most important Super Bowl in the history of Super Bowls.
Okay, so what are we starting with? Most important or the best story?
The most important
Most
this is.
important, okay. Well, I'll be the judge.
So the fact this happens to be the only time the New York Jets have won the Super Bowl is
convenient.
a complete coincidence.
Yeah, they're so important.
Bear with me. So the context here. It's January the 12th, 1969. The AFL-NFL merger had been agreed in June 1966, but there was still a bit of a Cold War going on between the two leagues. And more than that, the first two Super Bowls, because this is Super Bowl 3 we're talking about, the first two Super Bowls had been won easily by the Green Bay Packers. They were beaten the Chiefs 35-10 in Super Bowl 1 in LA, and then 33-14 they beaten the Los Angeles Raiders in Miami, or was it the Oakland Raiders? The Raiders in Miami a year later, wherever the hell they were playing at that point. I mentioned in the playoffs episode the Ice Bowl, if you recall. That was where the Packers beat the Cowboys in, frankly, inhumane weather conditions en route to Super Bowl 2. But that was considered the championship game. That was their real test. The Super Bowl after that was basically considered almost an exhibition game, almost, these two leagues are merging. This is something we have to do, but it's not going to be difficult. We're going to go out and steamroll them. And they did. The NFL championship was basically still the NFL team's Everest. The AFL was considered wholly secondary to the NFL. So I would argue Super Bowl 3 was so important for the game because it basically turned out to be almost like a referendum on the credibility of the AFL. Even if the Jets basically gave them the game, that would make a level of credibility for the AFL and make the merger seem like something that had to happen and not just basically a powerful league absorbing a noisy neighbour.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, because if one side of it kept winning, they'd be like, well, this is just an exhibition, effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm buying your argument.
So Vince Lombardi had retired. The Packers had accordingly taken a nosedive. So it was the Baltimore Colts who'd filled in the gap under their future Hall of Fame head coach Don Shula, who'd go on to do, frankly, astonishing things with the Miami Dolphins. He would do what Tom Brady and the Patriots couldn't do and finish the season completely unbeaten and win the Super Bowl with the Dolphins. They went 14-0 in the regular season. But I'm getting ahead of ourselves. The Colts had gone 13-1 in their season, so very nearly went the season unbeaten. They demolished the Browns 34-0 in the NFL Championship game. They were favoured by the bookies by 18 points. Just to put that into context, the only Super Bowl in history where one team has been more favoured than the Colts were in 1969 was the San Francisco 49ers in 1995, who were favoured by 18.5 points. They actually ended up winning by 23 points, so that one went to script. So it was an impressive season by the Colts because Johnny Unitas, who was mentioned in a previous episode, he was injured most of the season. He was back just about fit, but he was on the bench because veteran Earl Morrall was having a career season. The Jets were 11-3. They were AFL champions after beating the Raiders 27-23. They were talented, but they were treated as second best by the media. This was going to be a one-horse race and got less media attention in many parts of the media than the NFL Championship game had got. There was some symmetry baked into it as well. Jets head coach Weeb Ewbank had won NFL titles with the Colts. We talked about that in the greatest game ever played in 1958. Weeb Ewbank was coaching with the Colts, but he built the AFL Jets into a pretty good team by this point. Obviously, Don Shula, as I mentioned, was young, great tactician, considered one of the bright prospects of the NFL. 3 days before kickoff, Joe Namath, the Jets quarterback, had really ramped up the media hype on the game, which wasn't really that large beforehand, but he sat in front of a press conference in Miami and he told the world that the Jets were going to win the game. He guaranteed a Jets win, which was ballsy in the context.
But his teammates thanked him for that as well.
Well, to be fair, he played well.
Confidence inspires confidence.
It does. So the Jets played pretty sensible football. They were running it a lot, controlling the tempo. They were just trying to avoid mistakes. They were blessed with some talent, some good receivers. A man named Don Maynard, who was a future Hall of Famer, but he was carrying a hamstring injury. But crucially, the Colts didn't realise he was carrying a hamstring injury, and that made a huge difference in the game. There was a younger receiver called George Sauer Jr., and he was basically afforded single coverage for much of the game because they were doubling up on Maynard so much because they didn't realise Maynard was injured. And Maynard didn't make a catch all game, but George Sauer made 8 for over 100 yards. So, you take yards where you can get them. They had a running back called Matt Snell, who the Jets had actually basically stolen off the Giants back when the NFL and the AFL had separate drafts. They had picked him earlier than the Giants, offered him more money. He'd come to them. One of the big coups back when the two leagues were competing over players between one another. And yeah, the Jets just played well. They were battering the left edge of their line all day with Snell. Basically just the boring stuff that win games. Baltimore missed an early field goal. The Jets' offense was really well run by Namath. The coaching team of the Jets had identified the Colts as having a predictable defensive setup. So instead of calling plays in the huddle, Namath was calling them at the line. He was basically seeing what the setup the Colts had put out was and then calling a play that he think could beat it, and it was working really well. Obviously, Sauer was in single coverage a lot. He was picking up a lot of yards. And every time the Colts blitzed, Namath was quick enough to read it and get a pass off. As Namath said, if they're going to blitz all night, we'll throw all night. And the Colts made loads of mistakes as well. They left points on the field. They missed field goals, red zone trips that were left without any point at all. Most notably, at the end of the first quarter, there was a fumble by the Jets. So the Colts picked it up with 12 yards. But then they threw an interception. Old Morrill threw an interception, which was caught by Jets corner Randy Beverly for a touchback. So another missed opportunity there. The Jets went 12 plays, 80 yards for their first touchdown, a 4-yard touchdown run for a 7 to lead. That, in Super Bowl III, was the first time an AFL team had led in the Super Bowl.
Whoa.
Which is bonkers, and gives you the context you need for this.
Yeah, that's wild.
Colts ended up throwing 4 interceptions throughout the game, 3 of them by Morrill, and then 1 near the end by Johnny Unitas, who, to be fair, was quite rusty, having sat out the whole season. He got subbed in the third quarter when it was clear that Morrill wasn't going to do it. He went 11 from 21 with 1 interception and was better than Morrill, but not good enough to drag the Colts back into it. There's a very famous play that the Colts did, which was a flea flicker. If anyone knows what a flea flicker is, it's basically when you hand off to a running back, he then passes the ball back to the quarterback, who then passes long. Basically, it's like a trick play to trick the defense into thinking it's a run. It worked perfectly, and the Colts had a receiver called Jimmy Orr free in the end zone, but Morrill just didn't see him, and he threw an interception instead. So, yeah, sums up the game, really. Jets hit a couple of field goals to go 10-0 and then 13-0 up. As I said, Don Shula pulled his quarterback, put Johnny Unitas on. The Jets went 16-0 up with another field goal. Eventually, they finally scored. An 80-yard drive finished off by a 1-yard touchdown run to the Colts Scott on the score sheet, but there was only 3 minutes left. 16-7, and that was too far for them to come back. And the Jets ended up winning. And the game numbers tell the story. The Jets' time of possession, 36 minutes to 23 minutes for the Colts, and a 5-1 turnover. So that's how you win football games.
That's how you win football games. The rest is history. I can see.
Indeed.
I can see exactly why you say that that's one of the most important Super Bowls ever, because it changes the direction of the sport, right?
It does. Yeah.
And
completely.
You don't know how it would have looked if that hadn't happened, or how long it would have taken for an AFL side to win it, or even get a chance to win it. It might have petered out.
Kansas City Chiefs went and won it the following year as well, and they were an AFL team. So in the AFL-NFL pre-merger days, it ended up 2-2 between the two leagues. So
yeah, nice.
They went into the merger as equals, essentially. And actually, ironically, because they had to move some NFL teams over to the AFL, or to the AFC, once it became so, the Colts were actually one of the teams who were moved. So the Colts are now an AFC team. So
Indianapolis.
Bit of irony
there. Yeah. I'm persuaded, mate. I am persuaded. That's a good selection for the most important Super Bowl. I'm sure greater connoisseurs of NFL than I might have an opinion on what competes with it. But you said you had a story that was the best, and that is a bold claim.
Some stories, I mean, you look back at that Super Bowl III, logically, it's the best. And yeah, I'm a Jets fan. Maybe it should tug some heartstrings, but, it's way before we were born. I'm not getting emotional about that. This story, though, this story's great.
Hard not to be romantic about NFL? Is that what we're saying?
Indeed, yeah. So the next Super Bowl I would like to talk about is the first Super Bowl, actually, not technically the first Super Bowl of the new millennium, because technically the millennium starts in 2001, the Super Bowl of the year 2000, just after we all found out our computers weren't going to kill us because the Y2K bug wasn't real.
Wasn't real, yeah.
What time to be alive that was.
Hysteria.
God, that should have given us a hint what COVID was going to be like. That sort of mass hysteria.
Yeah.
Anyway, the AFC champs were the 4th seed Tennessee Titans, fresh off their miracle that we talked about in the playoff episode. And the NFC champions were the St. Louis Rams, now of course, the Los Angeles Rams, formerly the Cleveland Rams. and also formerly the Los Angeles Rams before they became the St. Louis Rams. But let's not go into that.
Yeah. These guys move around sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, the same LA Rams that were defeated by Seattle a couple of weeks ago in the NFC Championship game. Those ones. So
good game as well.
It was the first year of a 3-year period where the Rams were probably given the best nickname in all of NFL's history, which was the greatest show on turf.
Yeah,
which I love.
That is
with a passion. But Ben, this isn't really the story of the St. Louis Rams, nor is it the story of the Tennessee Titans. It is, of course, the story of Kurt Warner.
I knew that's where this was going.
I love this so much.
Yeah.
It is a Cinderella story. It's a fairy tale story. And if you will indulge me, I will tell it to you.
Of course I will.
Curtis Eugene Warner was born June the 22nd, 1971 in Burlington, Iowa. He attended Regis High School in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He played college football for the University of Northern Iowa. He was an Iowa man through and through. He didn't get much time to show how good he was at college until his final year. He was third on their depth chart, but he got some time in their final year and ended up being the Offensive Player of the Year and a first-team All-Conference at college. So it was, however, a Division II college, or what later became Division II. It's basically a second-level college. So he didn't get much attention in the NFL draft. In fact, he didn't get any attention because he didn't get drafted, famously. But he did get a tryout with the Green Bay Packers, but he was released before the regular season because he was competing against, obviously, Brett Favre, one of the
nicest
greatest
guys
and most morally questionable quarterbacks you can come across.
Yeah.
Threw a lot of interceptions as well. Also, Mark Brunell, who had a good NFL career, and the 1990 Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer. So, he was up against some talent. So after being cut and without any offers to play football, he famously worked the night shift at a Hy-Vee grocery store in Cedar Falls for $5.50 an hour, which was minimum wage at that point, while continuing to train during the day and try and find a path back into pro football, which is, the story everyone tells. He was stacking shelves in 1994.
But let's be fair, before you carry on, mate, this is mental. This would not happen now.
No. It's a crazy story.
If you're not drafted, the dream is dead for all intents and purposes.
One of the main reasons this wouldn't happen now is because Warner was able to go and play professional football in a couple of leagues that don't exist anymore. There is minor leagues now. There is it the US Football League? I can't remember what they call it. It used to be the XFL, whatever that merged with something else. Anyway, whatever that's called now. There are minor leagues that you can play in, but they don't get much attention.
Sure.
It's not really a way back. They haven't been established long enough. He did have a couple of options. The first option he had, which to be fair does exist today, was Canadian football.
Yeah.
So he went and asked around and frankly no one was interested. So that stopped being an option at that point. He had another option, which was quite a well-established option called arena football. Now, arena football is basically an indoor football league played on hockey rinks, or hockey rink-size arenas, basically. Just fast-paced, high-scoring. But most importantly to Warner, they had a team in Des Moines, which is the capital of Iowa. So he didn't even have to leave his state to play there. So he became a pro quarterback in 1995, albeit for arena football, the Iowa Barnstormers. He played for 3 seasons there, and he earned first-team All-Arena honors in 1996 and 1997. He led the team to Arena Bowl appearances in both seasons, although unfortunately they lost both of them. And 1997 was his last season of arena football. He was inducted into Arena Football's Hall of Fame in 2011. His success in arena football, it gave him enough fame, I guess, or something to point at to get a trial at an NFL team, which was the Chicago Bears. But in a moment of potentially incredible fate, he got married in the same year to his wife Brenda. His wife Brenda had a couple of children from his first marriage, which he adopted. Brenda herself, she'd been through a lot. She was a corporal in the US Marines, but sadly one of her children was brain damaged after being dropped by the child's father accidentally, leaving her to receive a compassionate discharge from the Marines. Her parents had also been killed, unfortunately, in a tornado the year before she married Kurt. They remain together to this day. They've got 5 children themselves, as well as the 2 children from the previous marriage. But why was this faithful, you say? Obviously, I'm telling this story because it's lovely, and obviously marriage and a family is the most important thing for everyone. But why was this faithful for his Bears tryout? Because he went on honeymoon, and on his honeymoon, a mosquito bit him on his throwing arm, causing inflammation, which caused him to have to cancel his trial. So he never got his chance to show the Chicago Bears what he could do. But every cloud has a silver lining.
I'm about to say, like, only because I know the trajectory of this story, that feels like it's the Bears that missed out, not Kurt Warner.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Yes. So in late 1997, he signed a future contract with the St. Louis Rams. And they signed him because there was another league which was going on at this point, which unfortunately, very unfortunately actually for us, doesn't exist anymore. That is NFL Europe.
Oh.
So NFL Europe was obviously a Europe-based league, which was used as a feeder league, basically, or a sort of...
a scouting pool.
Yeah, like a minor league, a development league, I guess you could say, for the NFL. There's a handful of players who played in the league who ended up having successful NFL careers. Adam Vinatieri, the famous Patriots kicker, is probably the most notable among them, but none had more impact than Kurt Warner did. So he was successful in Europe, and he returned to the Rams and spent 1998 as a backup for them. But he did take a few snaps, and he did throw a few passes, and he completed 4 passes during the season. So by a roundabout route, he had made it to the NFL, and if the story ended there, it was still very impressive.
Still nice, yeah.
But the story absolutely does not end there. Making it is one thing, but becoming a legend is quite another.
Yeah. That's a steep curve. Still
certainly is.
Yeah.
So the Rams had a quarterback called Trent Green, but Green suffered a preseason ACL injury.
Never heard of this. Chump.
Preseason ACL injury, which obviously put him out for the season. His coach, Dick Vermeil, publicly committed to Warner as a starter and famously said, "We will rally around Kurt Warner and we will play good football." So here's the thing about that. Everyone thought he was crazy. Dick Vermeil was an older coach. He'd had no head coaching job for 15 years before he took over at the Rams. People genuinely thought he'd lost it, backing this absolute nobody Warner, who no one had ever heard of, rather than trying to trade or trying to pick up someone with experience through free agency. But boy, oh boy, was he right on every single count. This is astonishing because with Warner at quarterback and offensive coordinator Mike Martz, as I said, this team became known as the greatest show on turf. He produced a ridiculous 1999 season, 4,353 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, hell of a ratio that, and 109.2 passer rating, and he won the NFL MVP. That is ludicrous.
It is.
Does it get any better, though?
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, you betcha.
Yeah, come on, give it to me.
So the Rams reached the playoffs, obviously.
Yeah.
And they advanced to Super Bowl 34.
Playing some champagne stuff.
Yeah, playing absolute champagne stuff. Lovely to watch. Up against the defensively minded Titans. They'd beaten the Vikings and the Buccaneers to get there in the playoffs. So here we are, Super Bowl 34, where I started. Tennessee Titans, the man stacking shelves 5 years earlier behind center. It's a crazy story. In the first half, the Rams repeatedly reached scoring range, but they weren't quite able to get a touchdown. They did hit 3 field goals. They were 9-0 up at the half, and they'd outgained the Tennessee Titans 294 yards to 89 yards in the first half. So, arguably, they should have been further ahead than 9 points, but nevertheless, they are in the lead. Warner, though, had absorbed serious pressure during this. As I said, the Titans had a very good defense. He'd been hit a few times, and Vermeil considered actually replacing him at halftime, but Warner refused to come up and ended up taking every snap, despite the bumps and bruises he'd taken already. Third quarter, Titans had a field goal blocked. Warner led a 8-play, 68-yard drive, capped off by a 9-yard touchdown to rookie Torrey Holt to make it 16-0. Tennessee responded with a 12-play, 66-yard drive, ending in a 1-yard rushing touchdown. They tried for a 2-point conversion. They failed. It was 16-6 at this point. Into the fourth quarter, and this is where the Titans came roaring back. They scored again on a 2-yard run for 16-13 and then hit a 43-yard field goal to tie the game 16-all with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left. This was the first time in Super Bowl history a team had erased a double-digit fourth-quarter deficit to tie the game. The fairy tale was slipping away. Or was it?
Or was it just crescendoing perfectly?
This is one of the best moments in NFL history. I kid you not. Because of this context, because of where Warner had came from, because of the situation with 2 minutes to go in the Super Bowl.
Because of the Titans fight back.
Yeah. So, on the first play after the tying field goal, Kurt Warner arced a long pass to Isaac Bruce deep. Bruce had to adjust a bit to make the catch, but once he'd made it, he stepped a defender and then ran it into daylight for a 73-yard touchdown.
Whoa.
We'll show notes this as well. It is very good. 23-16 lead. But, I mean, it wasn't over there. The very, very famous end to this game. The Titans drove all the way to the Rams' 10-yard line with just seconds left on the clock. And on the last play, linebacker Mike Jones tackled receiver Kevin Dyson 1 yard short of the goal line, ending the game. That finish became known as the tackle. You see him reaching out for the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, just short.
Who is the QB for the Titans? Was that Air McNair?
It was Air McNair, yeah.
Yeah.
Steve McNair.
Oh, nice. Mate, that is a insane fairy tale story.
Super Bowl MVP, obviously. 414 passing yards, 45 passes attempted without throwing an interception, and he threw for 2 touchdown passes.
Mate,
Fairy tale.
I feel like that's actually Hollywood. Like, I don't feel...
Well, I mean, yeah, they made a film about it.
No, sure.
About 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean like they should make a film about it. What I mean is like that kind of American dream type story.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it can only really happen in America. Like it's genuine Hollywood. Like there's loads of lovely fairy tale stories about people making it in other sports and stuff. But I feel like that kind of tale is it
absolutely is.
It has the hallmarks.
It has all the ingredients.
Yeah, of everything that you would say is an underdog story, American dream, get to the top.
Yeah, everything from he's a man from the Midwest, from the heartlands of America, not one of the most fashionable places to come from in Iowa. He was a very religious man as well. His Christianity is something he cites regularly as to reason for his success. And has all the elements really that you need for a great American tale.
Yeah,
you could say.
If you're American, this is one of those stories that you should be happy it happened to someone.
Absolutely. And it nearly happened again a couple of times, actually, because the Rams got back to the Super Bowl in 2001, and unfortunately, or 2001 season in 2002, unfortunately, the bloody Patriots ruined it there, because that was Tom Brady's first year after he'd got the starting nod in 2001. 2009 as well, I should say. He moved to the Arizona Cardinals to end his career, and he was actually brilliant again the last couple of years of his career, and took them to another Super Bowl, but heartbreaking loss again against the Steelers, 2009. But yeah, I mean, it's Cinderella regardless.
Mate, I think you've walked us very neatly into explaining a little bit about the QBs, or talking a little bit about the QBs and the team records, because you've mentioned the Patriots and the Steelers there. They're obviously the two most successful sides. They've both got 6 each. Patriots, ironically, also have the most defeats, 5, along with the Broncos, but that's because they lead the way on appearances by an absolute mile. I think they've been to the Super Bowl 12 times, which is 4 more than anyone else, which is shared by the Steelers, 49ers, Broncos, and Cowboys, who've all been to 8.
Is that including this year?
That is... is that including this year? 6? No. Yes, the appearances is including this year. They've won 6, lost 5.
That's crazy. I think all but 2 of them, or maybe even all but 1 of them, have been since Brady Belichick, which is crazy. The amount of Super Bowls they've been in is in our lifetime. In my time watching this sport. Probably half.
Which is why I wanted to have a quick chat with you about QBs, because you've mentioned like how fairy tale it is for Warner to have won it, and it really is. Not many quarterbacks have won this. So 34 quarterbacks have won it. Only 13 have won more than 1. And you would so that puts into context the scale, if you like, of the Kurt Warner achievement of just even winning 1. But
and going to 2 more. Yeah.
That it also, just knowing those overarching facts, I think it's jaw-dropping how good Brady is. And I know we've spoken about him before. I know he was the front man for the Patriots, and but it is actually mad. He's been to 10 Super Bowls, and it's insane. The next most is Jerry Bradshaw and Joe Montana, who have been in 4. He's won, as you know, he's won 7, which is more than any team has won, because he's the only bloke to have ever won the Super Bowl with more than 1 team. And second most again is Bradshaw.
Only quarterback.
Only QB, yeah.
Yeah.
But only Bradshaw and Montana come close, and they have 4 each, but again, both obviously with 1 team. Like the other legends, you've already mentioned some of them in this episode. Like both Mannings have 2, Peyton and Eli. Ben Roethlisberger, who you've mentioned about the Steelers, he's got 2.
Yeah, he's got 2.
John Elway's got 2. Troy Aikman and Mahomes are the only others with more than 2. They've got 3 each. And Mahomes is the only one, obviously, who's active. So many greats have only got 1. Like Favre.
It's a dynasty-driven sport, ultimately. Like, everyone you've mentioned there were all part of dynasties. Like, the Steelers were the OG dynasty. Terry Bradshaw, obviously, picked up a few for them. And then there was the 49ers. And then there was the Dallas Cowboys, which was Troy Aikman. And then, obviously, the Patriots and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
There's these teams that dominate for a number of years. And obviously, if you got a good quarterback, they will pick up a few rings as a result. But it is so hard just to win a one-off Super Bowl. Like, the scraps you're fighting for.
I've done a disservice to one of the greats, mate.
Who's that?
Can you correct my error before I correct myself? I said that Brady's
You failed to mention someone.
No, I said that he's the only quarterback to have won it with 2 teams. False.
Peyton Manning.
They're the only 2.
Yeah.
They're the only 2 to have done it. But Brady's won more than any team, so that's indicative of his dominance. But you were talking about it there nicely, mate. Before I felt obliged to correct myself. But like, look at these names that have got 1. Okay, Hurts, Wilson, Favre, Breeze, Rodgers, Stafford. Like this. Look at the people who've got none. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. There's a lot of future Hall of Famers you've just mentioned.
Yeah. Like, it's hard, mate. It's really hard.
Like the fact that Aaron Rodgers has only won 1, and he won his pretty early in his career in 2010, and he's still playing.
Yeah.
I don't think he's officially retired yet. I may have missed that if he has, but he's still an active player, as far as I know.
Playing for one of the league's most successful teams as well.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing that Brady's
team, it was his team as well, like, built around him.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
This is the thing. The other thing
it shows how hard it is to win.
Well, it's mad, mate. And the other thing that I was going to say that Brady's done that no one else has done, and I'm fairly sure I'm right about this, so hopefully I haven't cocked up twice, but he's the only quarterback to have won the Super Bowl for both the AFC and NFC.
Yes, that must be correct, because the Peyton Manning AFC Colts and AFC Broncos. Yes, you're correct.
Most Super Bowl MVPs, just to finish this off, most game-winning drives, that's 5 and 6 respectively. Oldest player to start and win, 43. I mean, so
ridiculous. Gives me hope at 37.
Yeah, we could just call Kurt Warner it, mate. Maybe we just haven't had our time. But look, we've spoken, you've told us some great stories, and we've spoken about some of the great Super Bowls, and we've spoken about how hard it is to win them. Like, let's talk about this year's and end it there, because this year leads us into one more very good story, which, Seahawks fans might thank us for, but it has to be told. And I've changed my background for your viewing context.
Yeah, I was going to say, prick. But that would be a picture of Malcolm Butler behind you.
So, look, let's get straight to it, okay? Like, the last time the Seahawks were in the Super Bowl XLIX.
Or 49 if you prefer.
Yeah, which is, must be by extension 2014 for the 2013 season. Yeah, mate, do you want to tell it? Shall I tell it? It's ranked 3rd ever.
You can tell it. I need to rest my voice now.
Okay, look, Brady.
Not even joking. I'm losing it now.
Brady and Belichick versus the Legion of Boom. Basically, Legion of Boom was Seattle's secondary. Most famous member was Richard Sherman, who's played a corner, that is.
One of the best players in NFL history, I would say. Incredible.
And he was complemented by some good players at Seattle. He had Russell Wilson at QB, Marshawn Lynch at running back. Pretty average start to this one. 0-0, end of the first quarter. Shot to life in the second. Both teams scored trading touchdowns, 14 all at the end of the half. But it's the Seahawks who started the second half stronger, so they scored 10 unanswered points in the third quarter to enter the final quarter with a 24-14 lead, which is what you keep saying, Jack. Fourth quarter football.
That's what it's about.
And the drama ramps up as per your requirements for a great Super Bowl. New England respond by scoring 14 consecutive points during the fourth to take a 28-24 lead with just over 2 minutes remaining. So, it's tight, but the Seahawks have the football, and that is quite often quite important. What does it come down to? It comes down to the Seahawks' last play. They were threatening to score the winning touchdown They were on, I say threatening, they had done everything but score
On the door.
the winning touchdown.
Yeah.
They were on the 1 yard line. And what do they decide to do, Jack? Don't run the football.
The damn ball. For Pete's sake. Pete. I'm not bitter.
They run a passing play. Inexplicable. I'm not even well versed in the tactical decision making of NFL plays, but they had Marshawn Lynch 1 yard to go.
It wasn't so much that they chose a passing play. Passing play in that situation is fine. It's unpredictable. They expect you to run. You can use that to your advantage. Even a trick play like we saw the Philadelphia Eagles do that we talked about earlier. That's great. It was the type of passing play. It was a passing play into coverage, into a tightly packed situation. It was a dangerous passing play they did not need to make.
And Malcolm
that was the
Butler
problem.
Caught the football.
And it was a hell of an interception.
It was
got to give credit where credit's due.
This is it.
Under pressure.
I was going to ask you this because I think this is one of the great debates. The interception is obviously regarded as one of the great plays, but the call to pass instead of run is considered one of the worst calls. Well, can it be both? What do you prefer?
I mean, you've got to judge the call by the outcome, and you've got to assume that NFL secondary players are capable of making an interception like that, and Malcolm Butler is certainly capable of making an interception like that. He was a very good player. So, yeah, you've got to judge what you're up against, and I think the wrong call was made. Now, I don't necessarily think simply throwing the ball was the wrong call. That type of throw was the wrong call.
The play, yeah, okay. Well, Chris Collingsworth, who was calling it for NBC, who I think you've already mentioned, he didn't sit on the fence. He said,
he tends to not.
I'm sorry, but I can't believe the call. I cannot believe the call. You've got Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. You've got a guy that has been borderline unstoppable in this part of the field. I cannot believe the call. If I lose the Super Bowl because Marshawn Lynch can't get it in from the 1 yard line, then so be it. So be it. But there is no way. I don't believe the call. So he was quite upset.
Yeah.
Scott Zolak, who was also on commentary, a former Patriots quarterback. It's got to be one of the dumbest calls offensively in Super Bowl history. You're on the 1 yard line and you have number 24 and you drop back pass. Are you kidding me? And also, they ran a pick play, an illegal pick. You deserve an interception.
I can't disagree, ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, I've got one more for you. It's not so much a quote, more a general position that's been adopted. Emmitt Smith, who's the NFL's all-time leading rusher, went even further and basically said it's the worst play in the history of football, not just the Super Bowl.
I mean, it's certainly the most high-profile bad call. It certainly haunted Pete Carroll to this day. I don't think he ever really recovered from it in terms of his reputation, because he had a hell of a reputation, Pete Carroll. And I'm not necessarily sure he does anymore. Yeah,
well, you were saying that earlier when we were talking before we started recording, when I told you that...
Yeah, he's had an awful season. Just been sacked.
Yeah.
The Raiders.
And it's interesting that you said that he never really recovered, because I told you that I'd read somewhere that some have speculated that he was perhaps influenced by a decision that he made in college football where he decided to run the ball on 4th and 2 to try and retain possession, and he got turned over, which actually led to the USC Trojans losing to the Texas Longhorns. And the irony in that is that it's been speculated that that decision influenced his decision to run the passing play. And now you're saying, he may not have ever recovered from the decision to... Obviously, the one in the Super Bowl is a higher magnitude, but it's kind of tragic. I mean, it's the opposite end of the romance that we talk about. Like, for every great story, there is obviously a heartbreaking failure or nearly man, and it feels like Mr. Carroll perhaps, unfortunately, has had more of those experiences than the ups.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there is some, in the interest of balance, can I say this in his defense? Because I did do a little bit of reading to see if it was a unanimous view. That basically, in the game, Marshawn Lynch had gained at least 1 yard on 22 of the 24 carries. And whilst the Patriots, I think they were ranked 5th worst in the league for holding opposing backs for no gain or a loss, they had stopped him for no gain on both 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 1. And the latter of that, 3rd and 1 in the red zone in that game already.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't. People like to tell it as if it's a foregone conclusion that Lynch runs it in. I'm not sure that that's true.
There's another part to the argument as well. There's a reason I think there's a reason he threw the ball, is that they had a timeout left. It was second down. They had a timeout left, but the clock was ticking. So to throw and have an incompletion means the clock stops, and then you have time to run a running play, use your timeout, and then run a second running play to try and score. However, I mean, obviously this is very much in hindsight. He'd been better off just chucking the ball away.
Spike it. Yeah.
Spiking it even, which stops the clock. Yeah. Obviously that's in hindsight. I don't have a problem with the call for pass. In fact, actually, by that argument, you can make an argument that the call for pass was the correct call on second down with one timeout, with clock ticking. It was just the wrong pass. It was a big man pass into a crowded area, and yeah. It was a wrong pass in every sense.
Yeah, you opened the door to lose the ball, and
it was a bad pass by Wilson as well. Wilson should not get let off. In fact, I would probably be inclined to blame Russell Wilson more than I blame Pete Carroll.
Just for
now, I'm talking myself through it.
Now, for the execution, you mean?
Just don't take the risk. Throw behind him.
Just the read.
If you're not certain, throw behind him, and then you let Lynch try and run it in twice. Are they going to stop Marshall and Lynch twice from a yard out? Probably not.
I mean,
throw behind him.
Marshall Lynch had only scored once in 5 attempts all season from the 1 yard line, which is also quite an interesting statistic.
Yeah, he'd score.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you know what they're saying about, is the interception one of the greatest plays of all time, or is it one of the worst calls? Can it be both? Let me tell you this. Butler's interception was the only one against all 109 pass attempts during the 2014 NFL season from the 1 yard line.
There you go.
A 1 in 100.
I mean,
or more.
He's a Patriot legend. His name will be remembered forever.
Yeah.
For good reason.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a play because he had to put his shoulder in, he had to be physical, and he basically knocked the receiver on his arse while making the catch. So fair play to the lad.
Yeah, he absolutely brutalised
him. He's a cornerback.
Him.
It's not like he's a linebacker doing that. Like Butler's a cornerback.
Yeah.
Great play.
Yeah, it was.
It was a wrong pass.
Yeah. Completely insane, mate. Josh McDaniels is going to be on the coaching team for the Patriots this year as offensive coordinator. He was a coach during that game for the Patriots as well.
Wow.
So that's quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's cool.
For him. Yeah, but the Patriots, Therefore, the Patriots won is the end of that. I think that game was watched by a heap of people. I think it's the 4th most watched American television broadcast of all time, and at the time it was the most watched program in television history on NBC.
Fair enough.
So yeah, and I think the Seahawks general manager is still there. He's the first NFL general manager to reach multiple Super Bowls with a different roster and different head coach. So well done, John.
It's been a while, to be fair. He's had plenty of time for the rebuild. It's not like he rebuilt it overnight, but you know. And let's not forget Aidan Durd as well, the Seattle Seahawks defensive coordinator, who's a Brit, who's British.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Representing.
Yeah, from Middlesex, which is impressive.
Well,
he actually played. Remember, I mentioned NFL Europe. He played in NFL Europe for the Scottish Claymores, which basically gave him his in, which is why, and one of the many reasons I missed NFL Europe. I think it would be a great thing to restart again because it gets, it's not just about getting players into the NFL. It's about coaches. It's about improving the standard of the game throughout the world. But I don't know. I don't get the impression the Americans necessarily want to do that unless it makes money.
Yeah, it's all about the dollar, as we know.
Yeah.
Oh no, that is cool. The Seahawks have their shot at redemption. Then, yeah, back in the Super Bowl.
And I think they'll do it. They certainly should. In fact, if all goes to plan, they should win pretty comfortably. I think the Seahawks are much better than the Patriots, and I'm not just saying this because of my bias. I think the Patriots flattered to deceive big time. That, I mean, they only won by 3 points against a Broncos team who had a backup quarterback. It was atrocious conditions. They just weren't put under any pressure whatsoever by the Broncos offense in that AFC Championship game. They got through the easiest regular season you can possibly do, really, because the easy strength of schedule. They've looked okay in the playoff games they've played, but I think realistically the Seahawks are better. However, football is a rare situation for the Patriots. Normally they're not the underdogs.
Yeah, that's true. And Drake May does have
Yeah, he's certainly got talent.
a cool head.
Although, again, didn't play against that many top-quality defenses, and the Seahawks have a hell of a defense. So my money's on them.
Yeah, well, it's their fourth appearance versus the Patriots 12. I don't think that actually counts for anything in NFL, really. But
No. Been so long for the Patriots.
yeah,
And it's been so long for the Seahawks as well.
haven't
They're not the same teams that played in 2014.
No, of course not. That's a long time ago. Haven't the Seahawks have got Cooper Kupp as well, haven't they? Who won it with the Rams?
Yes.
It's another chap as well, wide receiver who's been having a rather good season. Is it Rashid Shaheed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Him and Darnold were the biggest quarterback and receiver pairing in the league. No, sorry, it wasn't Shaheed. It was Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Oh, yes.
It was Donald and Smith and Jigba. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's
nearly got my facts wrong.
Couple of good options, though. Jesus.
They're super talented. I mean, Donald's a good quarterback, obviously former Jets quarterback, drafted by the Jets. Didn't do it at the Jets, but that wasn't his fault because he's clearly talented. That's clearly the Jets' fault because they're not a well-run franchise, shall we say. But yeah, Mr. Darnold, he's a very, very good quarterback. And I hope he wins for multiple reasons. Firstly, because I think he deserves it. And secondly, because fuck the Patriots.
In that vein, you know that Drake May is the second youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl after Dan Marino, 1984, which is pretty crazy.
It's not the best place to be because Dan Marino, that was the only Super Bowl he played in, I think, and he didn't win.
No,
he never won a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Dan Marino.
Laces out. Which is not real, but it's a great
which
quote.
Is what he's best remembered for. God, that film is problematic nowadays.
That's an Ace Ventura reference. Swiftly moving on. I genuinely thought this was really interesting, mate, and I know we're probably coming to the end of this episode, but it's being refereed by Sean Smith, who became a ref in 2018. He's been an umpire since 2014, and is only the 6th African-American referee in NFL history, following
I saw
Johnny
that.
Greer, Mike Carey, Jerome Boger, Dan Carey, Ronald Tobart, for anyone who's interested. Yeah, first on-field referee Super Bowl assignment, although I think he has been involved in earlier Super Bowls. Do you know what his day-to-day job is?
No, but I'm excited to find out.
He's an internal auditor in Michigan. So he's a man who loves rules and compliance.
I love it. I'm amazed that they have day jobs.
I know, same. I'm really shocked. I don't know, I don't know how reliable the internet is these days. So maybe it used to be his job. Maybe he is full-time. I don't know. I'll be very surprised if NFL referees aren't full-time now. But
yeah, it's not so long ago the Premier League referees were, semi-professional, essentially. Police officers, quite often. Howard Webb was a police officer. Was Uriah Rennie a police officer as well? But anyway.
Yeah.
What's his name? School teacher. I've forgotten his name. Guy from the 90s. Anyway, doesn't matter.
They
are professional now, and I would have thought the NFL was the same, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they are.
A couple of other fun...
David Ellery.
Was
the referee I was thinking of.
A couple of other slightly random facts for you. This is one of the few occasions where two teams have met more than once in a Super Bowl. It has happened. It's not very common. Only the Steelers and Cowboys have met each other 3 times. But this will be the second time that the Seahawks and the Patriots, as we've already mentioned, will have met in the Super Bowl. It's also the first Super Bowl, I thought this was fun, to feature 2 teams that missed the playoffs the previous season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Since, it's a long time. It has happened. Roman numerals 38, Super Bowl 38, featured 2004. It was Patriots versus the Panthers. That was the last time it happened. But this is the most unlikely Super Bowl matchup in the last 50 years, based on preseason odds. Seattle was 60-1, and New England were 80-1. So you would have got good returns if you had put £1 on those two making the Super Bowl.
Well, it's easy to say in hindsight, isn't it? I wasn't expecting either of them to be this good this season, probably neither or the other. Again, pinch of salt for the Patriots because of their easy season relatively, but the Seahawks have been magnificent. They are in an extremely tough division in the NFC West, along with the 49ers and the LA Rams.
Yeah. Who both made the playoffs.
And the Arizona Cardinals, but we won't mention them.
No. But the other two made the playoffs. if you're not here for the American football and you're here for the razzmatazz, then Green Day will be performing some traditional song which starts the Super Bowl. I don't understand it.
America the Beautiful?
No, that is being... Oh, no, you might be right. Pop singer Charlie Puth is singing the national anthem. No, Brandi Carlile is singing America the Beautiful. So Green Day are doing decennial tradition, whatever that is.
Okay, as long as they get political, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. And then R&B singer Coco Jones is singing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Don't know what that is.
Cool.
And obviously there's going to be a flyby because this is the Super Bowl. The US Air Force and US Navy are going to be flying B-1B Lancers, F-15Cs, Sea Eagles specifically, FA-18Es or 1/8 Super Hornets, and an F-35C Lightning II.
Not messing around.
Yeah, and apparently that is being put on by the Department of War.
Oh, yeah, of course. Good old Department of War.
And this is the irony, to celebrate 250 years of the US Armed Forces defending freedom.
Americans' freedom.
Yeah.
Asterix.
Interesting. You've named your department the Department of War in the name of freedom. Excellent. The halftime show is being performed by Bad Bunny.
Yes, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, and he said some stuff about ICE.
I hope he also gets political.
Yeah, yes. He did. Yeah, he did at the Grammys.
He will.
Yeah, he did at Grammys. He cancelled a show as well because he was worried people were going to nick them, wasn't he? His patrons.
Yeah, I mentioned like 10 odd years ago or so with the Copernic stuff that the NFL was a very white conservative organisation. I think the tide is turning. I'm not sure necessarily it's because that the owners themselves' opinions are changing. I just think they see the way the world is going, and I think they see the way their audience is going, and they understand their audience is very heavily...
You mean like Joseph Goebbels?
Young. I don't know the context for that comment.
Well, we spoke about the good old propaganda use of Rudy Ball in our Olympic Winter Series, and...
No, not like Joseph Goebbels. What I mean is, there's a lot of young people watching the NFL. That's where the money is. And a lot of them, and the biggest, most quickly growing population within the United States is young Latinos. And you cannot be... It's so divided, America, at the moment. You're either one side or the other. And I think they are understanding which side their bread is buttered. So I'm very excited that Bad Bunny is performing at halftime, and I do hope he gets political.
Yeah, I suspect he may.
Man, does someone need to.
So you're saying that there are capitalist motives behind their moral positioning. Interesting.
What other motives exist, Ben?
No, well, in the land of the free, defended by the Department of War, I guess none. Sorry, I'm two-footing America here. Let's pay homage to their capitalism. It's $7 million for a 30-second commercial in this year's Super Bowl.
Ridiculous.
And I'll to be fair to them, I will give NBC their due. They've done some smart marketing because they have bundled the advertising for the Super Bowl with the NBA All-Star Game and the Winter Olympics, and they are promoting it under the branding Legendary February.
I think that's probably a fair description of this February.
Well, we'll know who has won, or people will know who has won probably by the time they listen to this. Some will have listened to it beforehand. You had the Seahawks. I am not well informed enough to know, but so I will follow your judgment. Do you want to talk about anything else to do with the Super Bowl before we indulge ourselves in what Gianni Infantino has been up to as we close the ep?
Even if I did, Ben, I'm too excited to find out what Gianni Infantino has been up to this week. So let's bring the Super Bowl section of this episode to a close. I think we've covered it nicely. What's Gianni been up to this week, Ben?
Yeah, our standing item. God, this punk, mate. So... It's been a little while since we've done
word for it.
A long episode, a substantive one. We've been releasing our.
I think long is probably fair by this point.
Yeah, but we've been releasing our mini Winter Olympic series episodes. So we've missed a bit of Gianni's work, which only means we have a little back catalogue to take the piss out of for a change. criticised British fans, saying, for the first time in history, no Brit was arrested during a World Cup. Imagine. This is something really, really special. And then suggested that the fans basically just go around the world and riot. The only problem with that is that he's obviously misunderstood how the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is formulated, and Wales, Northern Irish and Scottish fans were quick to point out that they haven't been going to World Cup, so why are they getting lumped in? And the English fans were quick to point out that, in actual fact, we haven't been in an awful lot of trouble for quite a long time, and then there are plenty of other nations that have had issues more recently than us. And so he's had to row back and apologise, but you'd think, Gianni's shown a little bit of humility there. He said sorry. The same interview, Jack, he imposed a ban on Israel. He's in favour of lifting Russia's ban, and he doubled down on the decision to award Donald Trump the Peace Prize, suggesting, with, can I suggest, utter gall, that the intervention in Venezuela is evidence of his deserving of it.
What?
This guy, man. He claimed in the same interview that he's not in favour of boycotts for any reason, which is awfully convenient for a guy that's running very profitable tournaments. And he's claimed that FIFA developed women's football in Afghanistan for years. So
did they?
Yeah, I'm sure the women of Afghanistan are delighted he's speaking on their behalf. But that's what Gianni's been up to. God,
Jesus. Bloody Christ, mate. Keep your gob shut. Just see out your term. Pay off some people. Get them to vote for you again. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. You don't need to comment on
God
half this
almighty
stuff. And we're bringing that to the attention of anyone who cares to listen to this, because you could be forgiven for thinking that these people don't actually say anything that controversial when everyone just likes to have a single enemy to hit over the head when things are not quite how we want them to be.
I don't think it's that controversial to say Gianni Infantino is a prick, Ben.
Yeah, well, exactly. But what we're trying to do is shine a spotlight on the fact that he is actually a prick. It's not.
He's quite a big prick, to be fair. One of the all-timers. And he's up against some stiff competition in that job. I'll tell you that.
It's competitive, yeah. Okay, well, let's leave the whole episode there. We've obviously got our Six Nations series coming. We've got a few things lined up, actually, for the next sort of single episode pod, haven't we? Daytona 500, I think, is on the shortlist.
Potentially. We haven't massively agreed on anything because February's been so packed. We've got 2 episodes out in one day on Friday. That's mad. We've been doing really well to get these episodes out, but yeah, I think we haven't decided exactly what we're going to yet, but there's so much sport coming up. I'm sure we can work out quite a lot of it's going to make an appearance.
Yeah, and in the short term, there will be the Six Nations episodes, so we'll probably update on what we've decided upon in one of those.
Yes, yeah, Daytona 500 is a potential. There's an NBA All-Star game coming up. And there's a couple of things baseball related that I might delve into at some point later this month, but we'll see. The Paralympics as well, the Winter Paralympics, coming up obviously after the Olympics, and then the new Formula One season. So much coming up.
T20 World Cup, as we said, is ongoing, so we'll probably find time to mention that somewhere along the line. Maybe the final. Yeah, lots to look forward to. Crazy month. Crazy month. All right. Well,
indeed.
That was very enjoyable, mate. I had
that was fun.
Had a lot of fun. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I will inevitably be in communication with you throughout, or at least until half-time.
Until you go to bed.
Yeah, until I
was going to say.
At least
I believe in you, mate. You can do it.
But no, have a great weekend, and here's to a Seahawks win.
Well, we'll see. Fingers crossed. They certainly should win it.
Well, we'll know soon enough. All right, mate. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in today. How's the weather where you are? New Year resolutions going well? Watched any good TV recently? We like weird questions too, so if you have any of your own, feel free to comment or message us whenever you like. Also, tell a friend about us and ask them how their lunch was last Monday while you're at it. Our theme tune is Oh Yeah by Harmony Productions. Find us on Blue Sky and Instagram at The Sporting Almanac. We'll probably be back with more Six Nations next. Until then, whether you're the kind of person who'd run the ball at the 1 yard line, or you're Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, sport is nothing without the history that makes it. Go get some redemption, Seattle, and good night.